On March 24th, I completed the world's first Octagonal Ascension game without sprinting. Then I did it again 8 times over the next 10 days to perfect the first and only consistent route to complete Octagonal Ascension without ever sprinting. And this is how I did it. Phase 1 of this 3-phase strategy takes place on the first of Octagonal Ascension's 13 floors and is by far the hardest part of this entire strategy. Not only will most runs die in this phase, but most runs won't make it past the first 30 seconds, and that's because we're relying on power-ups. At the start of each game, I walk to one of the spawn locations and knife any zombies that spawn there while letting the zombies at the other 2 spawn locations enter the map. Once the other zombies are on the map, I shoot them and hope to either get a death machine, zombie blood, or a combination of infinite ammo and either an insta-kill or a free pack-a-punch drop. Either the death machine or infinite ammo insta-kill combo will give me the DPS I need to stay in the spawn room for as long as I can, and the zombie blood will give me the time I need to continue killing zombies and pushing through my drop cycle. If we get any of those, there's a good chance we have a viable run going. If not, chances are we'll see the game over screen. But if I get the luck I need, I'm going to continue relying on power-ups in my starting pistol to earn 23,750 points, which is the amount of money I need to reach the second phase of this strategy. Phase 2 of this strategy takes place on the 8th floor where Pack-a-Punch is located, but before we get there are a few items we need to pick up along the way. The first item is Juggernog, located on the 6th floor, which we need for obvious reasons. The second item is the HBR-A3 Wallby, located on the 7th floor. The HBR is a strong assault rifle from Advanced Warfare that we're going to use as our primary weapon. The third and final item is Double Tap, which is located on the 8th floor with Pack-a-Punch. Double Tap will give a DPS boost to both our Beretta starting pistol and our HBR-A3, which we are not going to Pack-a-Punch. Instead, we're going to use it unupgraded to survive on this 8th floor while we gather an additional 28,000 points to reach the top floor. And along the way, we should get another free Pack-a-Punch power-up that we can use on that HBR-A3. It's important that we Pack-a-Punch the HBR for free, since that's 5,000 more points that we don't have to spend. Combined with a free upgrade to the starting pistol that you should get during Phase 1, that's a free 10,000 points that we don't have to spend on weapon upgrades, which is huge. Anyway, once you're on the 8th floor, all you need to do is gather the 28,000 points and get that free Pack-a-Punch for the HBR-A3. This floor's grid-like pattern makes it an easy floor to survive on since you have multiple options for moving around, and these 2 weapons and your perks give you the defense and offense needed to make this the easiest phase of the entire run. As long as you're able to keep track of your drop cycle, you're safe to shut off your brain here. However, it is absolutely critical that you have the money and upgraded HBR before round 12, because on round 12, a new foe appears. Super Sprinters are what make Octagonal Ascension one of the hardest zombies maps ever made. On official Treyarch maps, Super Sprinters only slightly outpace a walking player, while a sprinting player can outrun the sprinting zombie. But on a community-made custom map like Octagonal Ascension, things can get a little crazy. Even if I could sprint, flight isn't an option against these guys. And when flight isn't an option, the only thing left to do is fight. And Phase 3 will help us do exactly that. Once we have our 28k and Pack-a-Punched HBR, it's time to climb up to the 13th floor, and on the way there, we're going to grab another 3 perks. The first perk we're going to buy is Speed Cola because we want to decrease our reload times as much as possible. Speed Cola is pretty deep in this cul-de-sac on the 10th floor, so be sure you don't have any zombies close behind you so you have time to drink the perk. Next up is Vulture-Aid, which is located on the 11th floor and for some reason only costs 2,000 points instead of the 3,000 points it costs on Buried. I don't know why the map's developer changed this, but given the map's own name is spelled wrong, it might just be a typo. The small money and ammo drops from Vulture-Aid are nice, but the reason we're buying this perk is for the green gas. For those of you who don't know, some zombies will drop a cloud of green gas when they die, and if you stand in that gas, the remaining zombies on the map will ignore you. If you play a lot of custom zombies, you'll know that some maps really struggle to code this perk correctly, which often causes zombies to attack you while you're standing in the gas. However, I've tested this perk a ton and it works perfectly fine on Octagonal Ascension. Those zombies will idle in place instead of dispersing around the map like they do on Buried. That small detail aside, Vulture-Aid is going to help our defenses alongside our 5th and final perk. Widow's Wine is located on the 12th floor and will stun zombies that hit us at the cost of 1 grenade. Widow's Wine combined with Juggernog and Vulture-Aid's green gas will give us all the time we need to react to those super sprinters. And with 2 pack Pack-a-Punched guns, Double Tap, and Speed Cola, we should be able to take most of them out before they even reach us. Once all 5 perks are acquired, we can open the door to the 13th and final floor, where we are greeted to PhD Flopper and the viable ending for 50,000 points. Believe it or not, this tiny platform is where we're going to spend the rest of our game. We are going to position ourselves behind either one of the spawn points on this top floor facing the entryway. From there, all we have to do is shoot in a mostly straight line to kill all of the zombies spawning directly in front of us and the zombies coming up the ramp from a lower floor. We will need to turn slightly to kill zombies spawning on the opposite side of the top floor and the super sprinters that run so fast that they collide with the PhD perk machine before they're able to turn, but by and large all of the zombies are either spawning right in front of us or on a lower floor. It's a very simple strategy on paper, but if you ever Google the phrase easier said than done, this is the gameplay you're going to see. I mean, just look at this. And despite the strategy boiling down to stand in one spot and shoot at one spot, there's still a lot we need to keep track of. We need to keep track of our grenade count for Widow's Wind. We need to keep track of the ammo in our HBR because the Beretta does not have the DPS we need to deal with the amount of super sprinters we're gonna get towards round 15. And we not only need to be very aware of our drop cycle, but because we can't sprint and we'd be super vulnerable if we left our camping spot, we need to be very conscious of where we're killing zombies so we can get any power-ups they might drop. But if you can do all of that and get the 50,000 points required, all you need to do is interact with this help sign and you've won. All in all, it's really not a complicated strategy or a very difficult one. I've completed this challenge 9 times and I'm yet to have a failed run after I leave the spawn room. So I feel pretty confident in saying that it's a very safe strategy as well. And here is what that strategy looks like in practice. Alright, here's what we're doing. I have completed Octagonal Ascension without sprinting 9 times prior to today. What we are doing now is we are going for attempt number 10, and I'm going to live commentate it, let you know what I'm thinking as I go through my strategy. And we got a nuke as our first thing. That's really not ideal. But if I don't pick it up, I will actually die. If one of you can drop something cool, and I did hear a drop, ooh, let's go. Anything else? No, okay. Hey, this is enough. This is enough to get me to a Pack-a-Punch, to a Death Machine, to an Insta-Kill, and an infinite ammo. We got this, alright? And we're gonna pick up those double points right now, because I'm feeling spicy. We're just gonna, there's the infinite ammo. We do need more though. Insta-kill, that's good too. I guess we'll pick up the max ammo. There was a zombie cache in there somewhere. We got the double points, so hey, you know what? Better now than later. Okay. Now, at this point, I am gonna need that death machine. Pack-a-Punch is good too, but I am gonna need that death machine. There it is. Oh, and we're in a new drop cycle. We're gonna pick up the nuke. And another, okay, this is fine. Death Machine will get us to the end of phase 1 and probably a little bit further as well. So let's see if we can get like another double points here. That'd be pretty good. What I really don't want to see is a Pack-a-Punch. So actually, I may... Okay, we got the double points. I may want to be killing them before they spawn in proper. Normally, I let them out and out of their crawling animation so they can actually drop a power-up. Because when they're digging their way out of the ground, they can't spawn a power-up. It's kind of like the equivalent of being behind a barrier. Ooh, speedy boots. If it had to be anything, it's a good thing it was that. All right, and we're going to use that to get the hell out of here. So normally I let them crawl out of the ground so they can drop power-ups, but because I had the Death Machine and I knew where I was in my drop cycle, definitely a good idea to not let them crawl out of the ground. That worked out really well for me, because I don't want them to spawn a Pack-a-Punch before I get my HBR. I will probably get into my third drop cycle while I'm on floor 8 and during phase 2, but you can never be too sure, you know? You can never be too sure. And now we get to the most boring part of the run, which is between phase 1 and 2 and between phase 2 and 3, where we're just walking up these stairs. They're not fast enough to reach us. We can't sprint to make this go any faster. It's just slow. Everything happening here is slow. But I was gonna say you could complete this challenge and brag to your friends, but this is really not a very cool challenge to complete. I've optimized it in such a way where your ability to run doesn't really matter at all. Like, phase 3 is entirely camping. Phase 2, you have so many movement options that it's not really necessary. In phase 1, where are you going to run? You're in the spawn room. Even if you do open that first door, it's not really all that necessary. It's not the greatest challenge in the world, but it does get you thinking. Developing the route was a whole lot of fun, but actually playing it, the fun in this kind of a challenge is actually solving the puzzle of how the hell do I complete it. Once you know the answer to the puzzle, it's not really all that interesting, but hey, you can use this and actually sprint to complete Octagonal Ascension normally. That's still impressive in its own right. It's a hard challenge. It's a hard map. But we do got the HBR here. We are getting close to where we need to be. I can only filibust for so long. This is not a very interesting part of the challenge. But speaking of the challenge, if you want to watch all of the non-interesting parts and the interesting parts for all the prior 9 completions I have, and this one if you don't want to hear me talk, I've taken the time to export and upload an unlisted video of all 9, hopefully 10 completions of this challenge we're gonna have. And you can find a link to that unlisted video in the description if you want to watch more of these, study the gameplay, confirm that I didn't sprint throughout any of this if you think I'm lying for some reason. That's in the description if you want to watch that. And we got the free Pack-a-Punch. Give me the boy cum! Yeah, max ammo is not really what I'm looking for here. Yeah, I honestly, it would be good for more people to watch the completed games because I'm playing all of these runs on controller. So it's not like keyboard and mouse where I can just unlist the sprint keybind. And if you haven't played Call of Duty on a controller before, I don't know who you are, but if you haven't, sprinting is done by clicking in the left analog stick. At least that's how it is on my Xbox controller. I don't know how it is for PlayStation. So I can't unlist that keybind, and my finger is just permanently on that button to move. So while I say I haven't sprinted throughout any of my 9 games, I am going to admit that even though I have watched them all thoroughly and obviously played all of them myself, it's entirely possible that I did accidentally hit the sprint button at some point in there and just didn't realize. Although I have watched them all very thoroughly, I don't believe that I have made a mistake. But it does fill me with a lot of anxiety that at some point in the edit, I'm going to have sprinted and not realized, and I'm gonna look like a big old dummy. The comments are gonna have a fucking field day with me if I did that, but I don't believe I did. And something annoying about this map is that I can't see how much money I have at any given time because the entire map is white and the point counter is white and I can't see. Okay, we're close. We're close to 28 though. Everything's going all right. Not a whole lot of Beretta ammo, but we're not gonna need it, especially because we got the max ammo right here. It's all right. It's all good. Nothing to worry about at all. Everything is fine. I think there was a power up there at some point. I thought I saw it flashing. We're gonna open a little prematurely. I'm fairly certain I have everything right now. That door's 3K. Yeah, we're good. We're gonna have 10 points when we get to the top floor. A whole 10. You know, we're just rolling in that money. All $10 of it. Hello, Speed Cola. Yeah, now we just have another phase of not really doing anything. But this one is actually a lot more interesting despite me doing nothing but walking forward. There was zero intention from the map developer with what happened here. But right now, all I have to do is just walk up to the top floor up there. And there's zero threat of dying unless I just walk off the map for no reason. But it's very interesting because it gives me time to think. It gives me time to think of what my resources are, how I've been playing, any strategy adjustments I may or may not want to make. It's a very, very unintentionally, but it feels intentionally quiet part of the run where you just have to reflect. It's like the moments leading up to the final boss battle of the run in a way that was almost certainly unintentional, but it's kind of fascinating from a purely storytelling perspective. So at this point, I'm just waiting for them to come up to this floor, just like last time. I'm positioning myself here. I could do it over here if I wanted to. Either side of the map is perfectly fine, and I'm actually gonna stand in this. Try to see if I can get a power-up. We're gonna step out of it for a second, let them get a bit closer. Okay, well, the one we were standing in disappeared, but a new one is here. So an important part about this run is that you don't want to be standing in the Vulturate gas too much. I'm doing it now because I'm just trying to use some Beretta ammo that I probably won't be able to use otherwise. And ooh, the Vulturate gas is gone. I need to focus up here, especially now that we're on round 12, but we got an infinite ammo, and there's a death machine there. I wouldn't mind picking that up, but the infinite ammo is going to do pretty much the same thing, and we got the super sprinters. They are here. They are angry. Infinite ammo is running out, so I'm gonna try and pick up this death machine now. I'm gonna move over to here. I personally prefer being on this side of the platform. There's really no difference between the two sides. You might think that being over closer by the viable ending is better. However, I think there's a bit more of a clearing when you are... Ooh, can I... Okay, that isn't quite how I envisioned that going. I was trying to pick up the Pack-a-Punch drop. Didn't quite work out for me, unfortunately. But I think you get a bit more of a path to reach the help viable ending on this side. Because the only zombies that are going to be over here are zombies spawning over there, or the zombies that are running into the PhD machine because they're super sprinters. But if you're standing in front of the help sign, things tend to get a little bit more clogged up. And while I'm in this Vulturate, I'm gonna turn my audio down because these gunshot sounds are deafening. They've been loud this entire game, but once you get the infinite ammo, they get a little crazy. But we're halfway there. And right now, we seem to be doing okay. I wouldn't mind more power-ups, though. And they are rolling now. Underratedly, a difficult part of this strategy is that... Ooh, we got an insta-kill that snipe. And another Pack-a-Punch. But underratedly difficult part of this strategy, because the zombies are spawning directly in front of me, there are times like right now where I just can't see. So that's fun. I didn't mention that in the actual breakdown because I just didn't have time. But that's the thing that can happen, and it's a little bit of... Did I just lose money from that zombie cache? I think I glanced over. I'm pretty sure I lost money. What is happening? Everything happening here is perfectly normal. I don't... What the fuck just covered my screen then? I don't know. Was it blood? It might have been blood. All I see is blood, because I am the blood. I am the zombie blood, to be specific. This is kind of chaos. And we get the double points now! When they're all away from me. Ah! I hate it. So shooting over there is partially a good idea, partially a terrible idea. I think I'm going to be able to make all the money I need before the zombie blood runs out. But if a power-up over there spawns, if a power-up spawns over there that I want, and ooh, I have the money. If a power-up spawns over there, I got another zombie blood. I can't even say the thing I wanted to say because I stumbled over my words so much. If a power-up spawns over there that I want, I won't be able to pick it up because it's so far away. That is the thing I was trying to say. And that is Octagonal Ascension without sprinting completion number 10. If this hyper-specific challenge felt oddly familiar at any point in this video, that's because fellow Zombies YouTuber FPS Psycho tried this exact same challenge earlier this year. This video was directly inspired by his, and that's where I need your help. Psych has a self-admitted addiction to iconic YouTube sponsor Raid Shadow Legends. He unironically loves that game and buys all of its microtransactions. So we as a Zombies community have an obligation to hold an intervention and break his addiction. So I'm going to link to his challenge attempt and YouTube channel here, and what I want you to do is go subscribe to his channel if you aren't already, and in the comments of that Octagonal Ascension video, we're holding an intervention. We are going to let him know that together, as a community, we are here to help him break his addiction to this no good, very bad video game that I have personally never installed or played. And we're gonna get him to play a more respectable mobile game like, I don't know, Bloons Tower Defense 6 or something. So get on it, and have a great night.